We have football. Well, some people have football. Some people just trained all offseason to get kicked out before the first play of the game last night. Nobody's at least getting kicked out yet here on the main event. Of course, I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. And folks, he hasn't started spitting yet. Dale Hellestrae's here, everybody.
Some people just absolutely amaze me. How stupid you can be.
Move that mic closer to your face there, Tiger. First of all, good morning,
I don't want to cover up the moneymaker.
Well, you're fine. Just a little
Jeez
closer.
Louise.
Yeah, but okay.
No, there's no yeah buts.
Dak Prescott also spit.
No, he didn't spit on him.
I know that's the difference. That's the difference. But it's always the second guy that gets caught. But what are you doing? Then there's a scrum at the beginning on top of it. Like, what's happening? It's first game of the year. I get it. You're jacked up. If you're the Cowboys, you're probably fired up because the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
No, you're fired up because there's nothing good that happens in Philly. Nobody likes Philly. Even the people who live in Philly don't like Philly.
They do seem like miserable people. I'm not going to lie.
Actually, though, it looked like it was a fairly nice day there yesterday.
No, until the lightning strikes and everything.
But I mean, during the day.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't that, excuse me here, folks. Wasn't that,
hello.
There's Dale, why are you talking to me twice? What a weird game last night, though. Injury right off the kickoff. A spitting incident, ejection. Scrums happening left and right. Lightning delay on top of it. Like, what in the world just happened on the opening night of
What is this, Arizona high school football?
I was actually trying to figure out some clever little thing to tweet out about that, and I was just finally like, lightning strike. What else?
Hold
what
on.
else can happen?
Is SCA in Philadelphia?
It was a Thursday night.
Yes.
Opening night.
Jeez.
So, the bases, we're going to be football heavy today, at least in this first hour. Uncle Lou joins us at 9. I didn't hear from him. I'm assuming he got back from Vegas, okay.
Is there a fight card this weekend?
There is, in Paris. Saturday morning fight card, no less.
Okay.
So,
well, I noticed your credit card already got hit for that exhibition that's coming up between Tyson and Merriweather. I know you're going to be all over that.
I was just hitting refresh for the pre-bill on that. Can't wait for that.
What are they doing?
money grab, Dale. Money grab. I will never lambaste people for making money if that's your ability to do so. I just won't.
I will lambaste people who are going to buy it.
That's what I'm getting at. I'm not going to lambaste them for doing it because people are going to buy it. And why not go make some money? There's more money than they make anywhere else. They'll make more money on that than they do with their other jobs and everything and stuff. So I won't lambaste on that. But what a joke of that is. I know. I saw that yesterday. I was all, that's brutal. Just a couple other notes here. Of course, Mike Sheehan, they're at retreat this week. So SCA's head coach, not able to join us here this week. He, sorry, people texting, it cracks me up. He was not able to join us this week because they're on retreat. Yep. They play tomorrow night, Saturday night at Bourgade Catholic, 6 p.m. You Westsiders, if you want to go, you can check that out. Over there.
What did we say that was on? Like 31st Avenue
it's I saw it and it's looks like it's between Camelback and whatever south of Camelback there.
Yeah.
Indian School or whatever.
Indian School, yeah.
Is that what it is? It looked like it was up in that area.
Over by Grand Canyon University.
Yeah. So wear your jacket, your flak jacket.
Hey, guess what? We did. I know we talked about it a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and I think maybe I talked about it with Holmberg yesterday a little bit. Guess who just got added to an injury report?
Yeah. This again. I have my divisions here. We're gonna go over them here before Lou comes on. And I'm not high on the Niners at all. Like I tried going through. I went through everybody's schedule and did win losses, etc. Not to find out how many wins and stuff. Just more of like more of an in-depth like how I think this season. I don't know how the Niners are winning games this year. I don't. And now even more so.
Starting the first week, hadn't even played a game. And it's a calf again.
Here's the worst part. He didn't even play in preseason.
No.
And then he's had a week and a half off.
Jeez.
No practice yesterday. Calf injury. Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
He was, when they traded him to the Niners, he was healthy. Everybody was like, oh, wow, he's finally healthy.
Yeah, and he had that 1 year where he played every game. They went to the Super Bowl.
And they dominated. He dominated that year.
Yes.
It wasn't like he was taking plays off. He was out there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's shocking. I don't get it, man. I wish Brock Purdy the best, but he doesn't have talent around him. I don't get why everybody. I was looking at stuff last night during the game where people are like, Niners are winning the division. And I'm like, what do you guys see that I don't see?
Right.
I think a lot of it is Shanahan. I think it's Shanahan and then the GM there. I think people just go kind of like Sean McVay, but Shanahan to me is not in the Sean McVay mold.
No.
I understand if you want to say the Rams are winning the division every year just because Sean McVay is good. I'll get behind you on that. I will not do that with Shanahan. And I don't get it. I don't get why people look at that stuff and say that. It's just amazing to see how many people are picking the Niners to win this division. I don't get it.
Well, what's amazing to me is if you just pull up ESPN, and we don't do this a whole lot, but the top headlines, and you got Caitlin Clark's going to miss the rest of the season for the Indiana Fever.
I'm not. There's 4 games left in the season and playoffs, but I'm not surprised. A groin injury just doesn't heal, and she injured it twice.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised by that.
You got Steve Ballmer of the Clippers.
That dude went to do a softball interview with Miss Shelbourne yesterday, and that was a disaster for him to do that. He's guilty beyond belief.
You got the 49ers add McCaffrey to the injury report.
Shocker.
And then the next one might be the most impactful one to me because it just shows what an idiot this guy has become. How on earth are you going to recruit kids if you're going to ban NFL teams from coming to watch your kids?
Lombardi, the GM, longtime National Football League executive, Lombardi is the GM there. He was asked for a question. His response, good luck.
North Carolina, Bill Belichick bans the Patriots staff from coming to see him.
Yeah. So we already know no NFL people were there. They all had to go to that first game. They only have 2 draftable players on this team. They got their butts handed to them. You should be begging people to come look at your kids.
You're worrying about all the wrong things.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
Your girlfriend's on the sideline and you're banning NFL teams.
Did you see, so if you don't know how this works, you have a media page that's separate. That if you're a media person, you go to a media page to log in to get your credentials and look at stuff, et cetera, right? Stuff like that. And they have that for NFL scouts in college as well. And somebody reported, I don't know if it was ESPN or if it was somebody else. I was reading it yesterday. I think it might have been the ESPN story. They had 0 contact 3 or 4 times in this, meaning NFL scouts will have 0 contact with any coach, any trainer, and very little contact with any player if they come out and scout. Usually when NFL scouts show up at a campus, they get a straight interview with the head coach, with the DCs, the OCs, all of that. Then they request the players, and the players make them available. Out on practice, they're talking to them and stuff. And they had the word 0 contact, 3 or 4 places on the NFL scouts. I questioned it the other day after Pete Thamel said that on the broadcast. I don't know what you're doing. What are you even here? He's making it about Bill Belichick and not about, and it is to a certain extent about Bill Belichick, but he's not making it about the kids.
No.
Who's going to go to North Carolina if you're not going to get promoted by your coach and your team?
It's just and the quote is, when reached by ESPN, North Carolina football general manager Michael Lombardi said good luck and hung up the phone.
Yeah, and he was a friendly. He's obviously allowing this to happen as the GM. I wish you the best, North Carolina.
It just blows my mind.
I don't get it. It baffles me. How are they treating their fans? If you're treating everybody else that way, how are you treating your fans of North Carolina? I mean, North Carolina football, people aren't clamoring for North Carolina football, like they are the basketball team and stuff like that. You could build up that fan base. I mean, that's where we're kind of lucky here. We have Kenny Dillingham. Just, hey, everybody, come on, let's go. Get on the train.
You want to promote your kids.
Not just that, the program as a whole. You want media there. You want NFL scouts there. That's how you build your program. Get kids go, oh, I can be on TV a lot if I go there, etc.
I have a chance to go to the NFL, but guess what? If scouts can't come and talk to any coaches or
my own NFL head coach for 24 years of success in the NFL won't promote me out there. I don't get it. It's an amazing thing to see.
And then, the last thing that I just want to touch on is Tyson and Floyd Mayweather.
Wait, you don't want to touch on Anisimova?
I did not know how to pronounce it, so I was going to stay away from it, Steve.
I actually watched a couple of those matches. Yes, those are fun. I hate the beginning matches because either a player that's not ranked beats a really good player that's just sucking that day and doesn't want to be there, and I don't like watching that. I don't like watching the blowout matches and stuff. So once it gets to the quarterfinals, I'll start to pay attention.
Right.
Watch. Yesterday there was some good tennis going on yesterday.
How much is the Tyson Mayweather Jr. Fight of the ages going to cost?
I'll tell you this: I paid double just to help him out. They were like, it's only whatever. I can't remember now. It was like $79 or whatever. It's like it's only $79.99 if you pre-order it. And I was like, you know what? You go ahead and take $150 from me. I'll watch it on 2 televisions.
Oh, 48-year-old Floyd Mayweather.
What's Tyson, 58 or something?
Tyson, what does he say? 59.
Yeah.
59. So that must mean that maybe they both need a little bit of cash?
Does Floyd... Tyson has money, but he doesn't have like old school money. He's stripped down his lifestyle a lot over the years from that. But last time we saw Mayweather was that disastrous Conor McGregor fight, if you remember that. It wouldn't shock me if Mayweather needs money. That dude spends it and gambles like crazy. Wouldn't surprise me if he's lost a couple bets from that side. So the I know Mayweather's doing exhibition fights, but in terms of the payable fights and things like that, but they don't have a location yet, they don't have a date yet, and they don't have where it'll be broadcasted. But they just announced, they just decided they're going to go battle it out in the ring.
Well, again, the Jake Paul Tyson thing, I didn't realize this. 65 million viewers on Netflix.
Yeah. Well, that could see it. Remember, it was all scrambled.
How many?
And stuff. Yeah, I left last year. I left SEA game and had it on in the car. I was watching it at the end of the SEA game, whatever game that was, and I was watching it in the car as well. I wouldn't pay for it, but if it's on Netflix or something, I'll tune in and have it on if nothing else.
Jeez. So that's what's going on in your world today.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the sports world. Dale, there's a lot of sports going on.
Yes,
today.
there is.
A lot of football happening this weekend. As well before Lou joins us. So SCA Saturday night, 6 p.m. Brigade Catholic there. Desert Ridge plays Westward tonight. I'll just give you guys my rundown of my world that I'm in. Queen Creek plays Boulder Creek. Boulder Creek's the one up there in Anthem, right?
Yes.
7 p.m. Tonight. Senior night.
Oh, that's right. They're doing that early, huh?
Yeah, it's a first home game.
Yeah, they're doing it early.
Freshmen get in free, I've been told.
Okay.
They're going to get kids moved around tonight and everything. I don't know where I'm going to go yet. I don't know if I'm going to go down to Queen Creek. I don't know if I'm going to go to Desert Ridge at Westwood. Do I go to the hood of Mesa? I don't know if I can go to Westwood. They have those crooked numbers, and that drives me nuts when SCA played there in the playoffs.
Once you notice them.
I know, and I pointed it out to you guys, and then everybody's like, there are crooked numbers here. I was like, sorry.
Never even paid attention to it. Well, especially when you're on the field. I think when you're up in the stand, you can see it a little bit better.
Yeah, it drove me nuts, man. They angled them.
Yeah.
You know, the 10, 20, 30, they're normally straight, and they angled them just a little bit. Drove me. I bet on the field. I don't know. AIA doesn't let you anywhere near the field unless you're a team person.
No, they made you go. I had just to broadcast games. You'd have to do a background check now. because I guess there have been some
physicals coming up.
There's been some people that are not a little bit unsavory who have been following.
What a shocker! Unsavory people going around high school kids that have promising futures.
Yes,
there's a shocker.
Yes,
I would actually argue why the AIA didn't do it earlier and didn't realize that.
Well, it is a pain in the neck. I tell you what. I mean, at least for me, I'll just put it that way. Just the whole process and taking a picture
old. You're old. I know. Get that. You guys should have seen Dale trying to take a picture around here. I was like, Dale, we can help you with that picture. We have cameras and stuff. He's like, I got it.
Yep.
45 minutes later, he's like, can I get help, guys? I'm like, no, you got to figure it out now. On top of it, what was your overall takeaway from last night's Eagles-Cowboys game?
Overall takeaways, I think the Cowboys have a chance to be better than I think most people gave them credit for.
Their offense has potential to be electric.
I mean, a couple drop passes away from probably winning that game.
We're going to bring that up here in a second.
And more physical than I expected them to be. I think their defense
I agree.
Is going to get better as the season goes along. Again, Philadelphia is going to be there at the end, but my big takeaway was I think the Cowboys will is an 8, 9, 10 win team is what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, I'm regretting my 5-win stance I took yesterday.
That might be.
They're going to win some games that they're not supposed to. I agree with you. 8 or 9 probably is probably before I said yesterday 7. It could be 8. Looking at their schedule, here's the other side of it. Their Cowboys' run defense is atrocious. Now I get it. It's Saquon on the other side. It's Jalen Hurts on the other side. I get it. You're not playing those two guys every week. But their run defense was atrocious, which I find ironic that that's what Jerry Jones said they need to improve.
Yeah.
It was bad. The other thing that shocks me, yes, I get it. The broadcast kept saying, we come out of halftime, you get warmed up again, and then you have an hour lightning strike delay. It's hard to get back into it. When you're making $36 million a year as a wide receiver and the ball hits you in the hands, you better come down with it. You get paid that money. So in that final drive, when you're down by 4, you catch those balls. And he dropped, 2 of them? That third one I'm not going to give to him. The 4th down one, that was a tough catch over his shoulder, the way Dak threw it. That one I'm not blaming on him. But he had 2 other ones that bounced right off his hands. That is unacceptable for a guy in that role and that money. I don't care who you are.
It would have been a great catch, the go route down the sideline, but the ball's put right where you needed it to be, and that's why you get paid $30 million.
That's all my point is.
Yeah.
Yes, receivers drop balls. You get paid $36 million for a game-winning drive catch that hits you in the hands.
Yep.
Period. End of story. That's what shocked me a little bit. Was wow, CeeDee Lamb. Well, the other side of it that I got is Eagles defense is going to be an issue this year for the Eagles.
Well, you take all right, so you lose a couple free agents, but then your best defensive remaining defensive guy decides to, you know what? I think I'm gonna go have a cheesesteak.
Could you imagine you all off season, you're jacked up to get out there. You went through warm ups. You're psyched to go out there. And before the first defensive snap, you're out of the game. Like, just how disappointing could that be?
And meanwhile, you got an injured teammate on the field. He just blew his ACL
That
out.
actually bothers me the most.
It's like,
why are you jawing when you got somebody's serious injury on the field? What are you doing? But I think even with Carter, they're going to be decent. By 10 defensive guys off that defense. I knew there was 7 or 8. I didn't realize there was 10.
Right. But then you lose him. He's in the middle. Yes. He's a beast.
Yes.
He obviously said all the right stuff after the game.
Well, he needs to.
And for that matter, I also think CeeDee Lamb said all the right stuff. It's on him.
CeeDee Lamb has grown. I'll give him that. I will give CeeDee Lamb that. He has grown up. Because if this would have been CeeDee Lamb of three years ago,
he's not talking.
He would have made excuses and things like that. I mean, that to me on the Cowboys side. CeeDee Lamb catches those balls. They're winning that game.
Yeah.
I firmly felt that going into that drive and everything. From that. Now, first game, jitters. I'm not going to say CeeDee Lamb's going to be terrible the rest of the year. First first game jitters, or whatever you want to say in it, and blame the Lightning, just whatever. But those are my main takeaways last night. Cowboys offenses might be good. And the thing I noticed, because I was like, man, Eagles should probably guard CeeDee Lamb. You got Pickens on the other side.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. You gotta be respectful of both those guys out there. I think that's gonna help.
And if Jake Ferguson returns to his form, they have a chance to be pretty damn good offensively. Again, defensively, they're not going to run into I was watching as the Eagles offense took the field. Like, they have the number one left tackle, the number one right tackle, according to whatever, PFF.
Yeah.
And now they did lose that Dickerson guy.
But the guy that filled in for him played well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's having Jalen Hurts behind you, with the way Jalen Hurts has been playing these last couple of years, is going to make a lot of, I'll just say, mediocre offensive linemen look good.
Right.
Because he's just shifty. He gets. They pointed it out last night a couple times where he dropped back and there's no hole for him to run to, and all of a sudden he's like 10 yards up the field. And you're like, how did he get there? It's amazing to watch him run. I like it. I do think the Cowboys offense, though, is going to struggle because they just don't have a running game. And that's going to hurt Dak as the season goes on.
Again, the things that I always look at, especially with the Cowboys early in the season, is how physical are they?
Yeah.
Will they come off the ball offensive line-wise? Will they get after the quarterback? They didn't really get to Jalen Hurts. They, I think, sacked him once. But they were, again, you're not going to play Jalen Hurts every week.
I'm trying to find it. They did have several hurries on him.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They played better than I thought they would play, and they're not going to play Eagles every week.
No.
That talent level every
week. They had 5 quarterback hits. They
Yeah.
have 1 sack. And again, that's against arguably the league's best offensive line. So, and with a mobile quarterback.
Yes.
You're not going to run into that every week. So I was pleasantly surprised if you're a Cowboy fan with their performance.
CeeDee Lamb ended up with 7 catches, 110 yards on 13 targets.
Yeah, it's hard to go, man, you might have lost the game when you had a game like that. But
I know. 13 targets. This is what I also found interesting. And maybe you have to double team CeeDee Lamb if you're a defense, because he had 13 targets.
Yeah.
Ferguson had 6. Pickens had 4. It's very clear Dak and CeeDee Lamb are going to be is going to be his number one target all year. So maybe the strategy would be to shut down CeeDee Lamb and see if anybody else steps up at that point.
Well, I think you'll see, obviously, first game, everybody has a game plan that will change going into week 2 and 3 and 4. I think George Pickens will get his, because there will be certain teams that say, you know what, we'll single cover George, and I think that that's a good matchup for the Cowboys. I think it's fascinating.
The one thing I talk about the Dallas running game, and they just don't have a good one. Yes, Williams had 15 carries, 54 yards. Sanders 4 carries, 53 yards last night. It was just good to see, the 2 touchdowns by Williams early and stuff like that. But Dak Prescott still threw the ball 34 times yesterday. I think it's a pass first, run through the quarterback offense. I just don't know if you can do that as a Cowboy for a long-term season with Dak back there. But that's it. As on the other side, the Eagles, Jalen Hurts only dropped back 23 times to throw the football.
Right.
What that offense runs through.
But then you look at it, if you're going to look at the stats, obviously the Cowboys, they carry the ball 22 times.
Yeah.
They average almost 5.5 yards per carry. If you average 5 yards a carry, you're going to win some football games.
I think Philly will be there at the end, don't get me wrong, but I think Philly's defense is going to be a liability this year.
Well, let's see
I think you're going to get yards on them throughout the year. It's just will they give up the touchdowns and stuff like that? And then their offense is going to score a lot. So I think, but it is going to be interesting to see how they react. This is not the defense of last year for the Eagles, and it's not even going to be close.
And then let's see them with Carter, because I do believe that he's a disruptive force. I mean, if you're an offensive lineman, you're like, wow, okay, he's out before you even have to block him.
You saw when he's bit, Dak went. Like, oh my God, did this just happen? Thank goodness. Let's do this.
It's such a weird feeling as an offensive lineman. When I was in Buffalo, the year that we went to the AFC Championship game that I was there, second to last game of the year, I'd started the last few games, and we're playing the Raiders. And Howie Long was a game-time decision because he had a calf injury or something. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of when I saw him walking out in street clothes, I wasn't really sad.
You're like, yeah. I mean, the Eagles. Robert points this out. The Eagles' offensive line got dinged up, in the second quarter.
Yeah.
The thing that about this game last night that I'm going to be very cautious about, and I said this when SEA, obviously high school, different. The lightning delay changed that game. So, the only 3 points were scored in the second half.
Right.
And everything was off kilter. So I'm not going to pay attention as much to the second half of things as I am the first half because everything was off. And NFL players are creatures of habit. You generally don't come out and then have an hour-long delay again, and then you come back out. That throws everything off, in my opinion. So I'm going to be more interested in the Eagles and Cowboys in their next game, second half, than I was last night in the second half. So I'll take less. I'll be a little bit easier on everybody in the second half, and that includes CeeDee Lamb. I'll be a little bit easier on him. It's just at $36 million, you cannot drop those passes at any point in the game, period, end of story. And that's it. You're not making $36 million because you make those catches in the second quarter. You're making $36 million to make those catches on the final drive when you're going down to win the game. And so you have to be critical of it, but at the same time, I'm willing to forgive a lot of the stuff in that
on the
half.
road again against a quality opponent. I think you've got to say, you know what? If I'm a Cowboy fan, I'm pleasantly surprised. Going for it. As far as Philadelphia,
my first thing last night was 5 wins is too low for the Cowboys. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Well, I got one right. 1L, Dale. 1L right off the bat. Let's get into it here. Of course, Lou's coming up at 9 o'clock. We got college football to talk here as well, and everything. So we, of course, last night we both had the Eagles winning that game last night. So 1-0 in the NFL for both of us.
By the way, if CeeDee Lamb catches 7 passes a game, plays all 17 games, he can have 119 catches.
And let's say he gets 100 yards a game.
Yeah.
That's going to be a heck of a season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do. That's great. You look at his stats, you go, because that's the Marvin Harrison Jr. thing that cracks me up.
Yeah.
Is you're like, man, he was so disappointing in his rookie year. And then you look at his stats and you go, he had really good rookie numbers.
Yes, he did. He just came in with a rookie class with that 3 or 4 guys that are really good. And
he was billed as the next coming of Larry Fitzgerald or whoever,
right.
Top of the line game changer, and he was not that. So it's also those expectations and stats that you looked at. If CeeDee Lamb drops a pass in every game that they lose in the fourth quarter, that could lead to something else.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different perception of him. I don't care what his numbers will be at that point, right?
Right.
So it's fascinating how stats can do that. Tonight, Chiefs versus Chargers tonight from Brazil. I watched the press conferences yesterday, and Travis Kelce's so unlikable.
Oh, come on. Did you see him imitate Mahomes?
So great.
I thought that was hilarious.
I actually wasn't paying attention to it on my screen, and I heard it, and I was like, Mahomes is already off.
Yeah.
I had to double check it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good imitation of him.
I was being sarcastic. Travis Kelce, that's what sucks about him is he's a likable dude.
That's what you get for telling people I don't know where Brazil is.
On the map.
I don't know if I can point out Brazil.
It's the biggest country in South America. It's hard to miss.
I'd just say somewhere down there.
At least you know where Illinois and Wisconsin.
Yeah, that is true. Take a left. How do you get to Brazil, Steve? Well, you take a right and then you
south.
take a left.
You know how I get there? American Airlines takes me. I just get on the plane and they fly wherever they need to get me there, Dale. That's how I get there. Chiefs at Chargers tonight. Down there, week 1 is just difficult. It's just you don't know what's going to happen. So many unknowns, nerves, et cetera, happening. And then these guys have to travel way down south to do it as well. Yeah. I got the Chiefs winning this game tonight. based off of that. But I don't know. Chargers run the ball a lot.
What station is this on tonight?
This one, YouTube. It's not behind a paywall, but it's on YouTube. You have to watch it on YouTube.
Okay. That is the one thing that about it just used to be NBC, ABC, CBS.
It was easy, and you knew
or ESPN.
Well, that's the other thing. Cardinals play on CBS this weekend.
The whole AFC NFC thing is kind of.
I saw CBS's schedule and I went, Cardinals are on CBS at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, so be prepared for that. Everybody's going to log into Fox today on Sunday morning to watch that at 10 o'clock. So, no, it's YouTube. It's not behind the paywall. You load it up. While you're on YouTube, by the way, like and subscribe our YouTube page while you're there as well. So we're putting all of our shows up on demand there. New thing we're doing. Haven't started promoting it a ton yet, but just get on board with that if you would. Share us with your friends as well. So Chiefs-Chargers tonight. I mean, to me, the Chiefs are just going to outscore the Chargers. I don't think the Chargers can get in a shooting match with them. I'm worried. I'm interested in seeing what the Chiefs' defense is like tonight against the Chargers. But I do think the Chiefs do leave Brazil with a victory.
I do too. It's going to be fascinating to see how the Chargers' offense overcomes the loss of their stud left tackle.
Signed 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geez.
You know what? It's again, we touched on it. We didn't really talk a lot about it, but it was one of those things that you got to feel good for the player. Because 98% of the time, the player gets hurt before he signs a contract.
If it was 4 days earlier,
yes.
He didn't. I mean, he had another deal, but he's not getting that signed deal after getting that injury.
And who knows if he comes back and is the same guy?
Yeah, I mean that's one of those like, woo, glad I signed that.
Yes, and glad we didn't hold out for $10 more.
Then you got a bunch of Sunday games, of course. Interesting games this weekend. Like I said, just a lot of unknowns. It's hard to predict this weekend. 49ers at Seahawks. You'll see here in a minute here, I'm high on the Seahawks this year. I really am for them. 49ers, not so much. I have the Seahawks winning this game at home in week 1.
Why are you high on the Seahawks? What makes you...
Well, high's a different word. The Seahawks aren't going to be last in the division. Let's put it that way. You disagree with me?
I think that
they have the quarterback of the he shunned Minnesota.
No, I think Minnesota shunned him.
Revenge tour. I just don't think it's in Seattle too. That's why I think Seattle will win.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll take it, but I think they'll finish third in the NFC West.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna do that in just a second. So keep that thought there. My NFC West was the hardest one to pick, and because of injuries, is why it was hard to pick going into this here. So do you have Seattle in this game on Sunday?
Yeah.
Lions and Packers this weekend. I think the Lions are going to struggle a little bit to start the season. New offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. A lot of football wear and tear on these guys coming into this season after the last 2 years. Whether Micah Parsons plays or not, I don't think matters. I think Green Bay wins the first game of the year at home in Green Bay over the Lions because of some of that. And it's not that they're going to be bad at play calling. It's that rhythm isn't going to be there, right? Jared Goff's used to Ben Johnson calling in a certain play in a certain situation. Well, it might be a different play coming in now. And that might just upset the apple cart a little bit early in the season. So I do have the Packers winning this game on Sunday.
I believe so, too. What is the latest on your boy?
He's practicing, but they say in order to play, he's going to have a shot. That's the last I read about him.
Oh.
And I think if he plays and plays well, I think it's even more of a detriment to the Lions, to be honest with you. But I think even without him, the Packers win this game.
Gosh, it's so hard for me after all these years of the Detroit Lions being the Detroit Lions to think of the new Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions will be there at the end.
Yeah.
I just think the beginning – I think people underestimate offensive and defensive coordinators, especially innovative offensive and defensive coordinators leaving. I mean, if the guys that are offensive and defensive coordinators for the Lions right now were as good as Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, they would be head coaches. They're not at that level.
Or maybe they just haven't had a chance.
Well, they're not at that level now in their first game. They're not going to just step in and be like, oh, Ben Johnson's still here.
I mean, so at home, I think with the continuity, you're onto something there. I believe Green Bay does find a way to win the game.
Early enough here. And then Sunday night, you got Ravens at Bills. I think the Ravens might go into this season as the best team in the AFC. If they're not, I think the Bills are probably the next team on that list. Possible AFC championship game here coming up. To me, it's sad this is week 1 because of the first week. You don't know what you're going to get. Guys didn't play preseason. All of that stuff out there. On this side, and I'm going to go homer here for me, and I love me some Josh Allen. I think the Ravens are going to win this game. Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a close, sloppy affair. I think the Bills' offense needs a couple weeks to gel, and the Ravens' defense is going to be really good this
year. It's in Buffalo.
In Buffalo.
Yeah, give me the Bills. You can give me all this nonsense, yabbity dabbity doo.
I'm so looking forward to this game though on Sunday night. Like I can't wait for it to get here. Vikings Bears Monday night. I'm throwing a couple extra games in this week because division matchups, question marks around these teams. I'm not high on the Vikings this year. I think the Vikings are going to be a run-first team this year. I wonder how that's going to affect guys like Justin Jefferson, who aren't going to get thrown to that much. Rookie quarterback, who I don't think is going to light the league on fire this year. I'm not saying he's a bust or anything. I'm just saying he's going to struggle a lot this year. They're going to take the ball out of his hands a lot, give it to the running back. And I think the Bears have all that upside. And I think coaching – both these coaches are going to be excellent. In terms of Ben Johnson, Vikings coach is already excellent. I think the difference here is Ben Johnson can do more with a team that has played more than the Vikings can do in game 1 with J.J. McCarthy. I think the Bears win this game on Monday night.
I think you're just trying to talk yourself into that. You didn't even believe it. I can tell when you're trying to sell yourself on it. Again, I don't know what color fingernail polish your boy's going to wear.
You hate him because of his fingernail polish.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. As I look at these two teams, I think Chicago will be improved. Mm-hmm. But I think you on one hand you use Detroit with the new coordinators and all that. It's going to take them a little time to adjust. But what about with the head coach and all new coaches? For Chicago.
I don't disagree, except for the fact, to me, a rookie, because he is a rookie, J.J. McCarthy, with the Bears defensive guys out there, you can confuse them a little bit, and that to me, a rookie quarterback is more of a question mark than new coaches.
Okay, well, I'm going to go exactly opposite of you. I'm going to go by my inside info that J.J. McCarthy is the real deal, according to players.
Colin Cowherd has been knocking J.J. McCarthy all preseason and telling him how awful he's been there.
And
that's your source.
Again, no. That's not my source. But I will go and I'm going to take the Vikings, and I think they're going to surprise people. I think J.J. McCarthy could be the comeback player of the year.
Don't you have to play before it's comeback player of the year?
Yeah, I guess.
Cardinals Saints, I'm just going to say this easy. Cardinals better go in. The Cardinals better win this game. There's no excuses if you don't win this game. It'll be sloppy at times, being the first game. I don't expect a lot to happen in the first probably quarter and a half of this game, to be honest with you. I think you're going to be able to see a lot of frustration around the offensive side. But this defense, and sorry, Spencer Rattler, I know you're a local kid. I think this defense and Kellen Moore, what is he, 37, 38 years old on top of it? I think Cardinals coaches are going to outcoach them. I think the Cardinals, as the game goes on, is just going to outpower the Saints here on the road in this game and pull this game out.
Well, they should win. They're a better football team. Again, I've got them winning the NFC West. These are games that they should
Cardinals?
be able to go and win. Yeah. Oh, I've got some money on it too. So no, I think the Cardinals go there. Now again, when I was looking at the point spreads and all that, like last night, I mean the Cowboys covered.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy.
Week 1, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even if the Cardinals win by 3,
yeah,
it's a victory. Get out of there week 1.
Get on the
plane.
plane.
If this was week 14, it'd be a different story, right? We'd be more like Cardinals better go dominate this game. It's probably going to be a rough start to this game for the Cardinals on offense, especially on offense.
Well, I don't think so.
You think they're going to come out and score on the first drive? Score on the first drive, yes or no?
Yes.
Really? Anything. I'm giving you any chance to score.
Yes.
Safety, anything. Really? All right. Run heavy, play action. Boom. Make it happen, Cardinals. Those are our NFL picks for this weekend. I'm just excited as all. I mean, there's a lot of dogs this weekend as well, but I mean, this is going to be fun to see what happens. I just, week one, I'm just always going to have that little, not overreact, not underreact. Of course, we'll do our overreaction on Monday coming up as well. Dale, before we move on to college football here, because Lou comes up here at 9 o'clock, did you see Ballmer with
I just heard little snippets.
Ramona Shelburne?
Yeah, heard little snippets.
I watched the whole thing, and then I saw what they put out. I saw what people were clipping on Twitter to put out, people against Ballmer. I found most interesting at the end of the interview. Well, one, it's always who you go to interview with.
Right.
ESPN's not going to say anything negative about an NBA owner, folks.
Well, just getting the NBA, right?
Take that into consideration. That he went to a friendly source there. It's not a knock on Shelburne. It's not a knock on any of that. Just keep that in mind. He could have gone to a tougher place to do an interview. But the thing that shocked me the most was at the end of the interview. He said, I feel sad for the employees of the Clippers, our fans, for having to go through this and these accusations and everything. What does your fan base and the people of the organization have to do with any of this?
Well, they want him to go through it. He cares about his you
people. Did it or you didn't do it. You're going to get fined or you're not going to get fined. What does that have to do with the ticket taker of the Clippers? What does that have to do with the ticket sellers? What does that have to do with any of those people? I felt like he tried to plead to everybody. Look, it's not about the billion. He tried to make it not about the billionaire funneling money around the salary cap. And he tried to make it about the common Clippers fan out there. It's not about the billionaire doing it. It's about these people. And that kind of bothered me at the end when he did that. Kind of bothered me. Nobody's saying that the vice president of the Clippers did this. Everybody's saying one man cut a check for $50 million to this company. And now we're finding out there's other companies that he's invested in that have given no-show contracts also to Kawhi Leonard.
And why Kawhi Leonard, for crying out loud?
This is what I don't get.
Jeez,
LeBron James, I would understand. Like, if it comes out and the Lakers did this with the LeBron, I'd be like, yeah, duh, why wouldn't you? I don't think he helped himself yesterday. I think, if anything, he knows the circle. And one thing I know for sure, if this is true, and to me the evidence is pretty, if he didn't do it, it is mere coincidence that he is funneling money to companies, and it just happens to a large portion of it's going back to his star player. And if Kawhi Leonard just sent 2 tweets out, this wouldn't be a conversation advertising it. He did nothing for it. That's where it kind of makes you look weird. It's either a wild coincidence, they didn't know about it. Also, when you cut a $50 million check to a company, like let's say I were advertising and I cut a check to somebody, and somebody's like, I want to support Dale. I want to sponsor Dale and have him be a member of my team. You mean to tell me that company that's sponsoring the show wouldn't come to me and say, hey, I'm thinking about, promoting Dale and having Dale sponsorship my thing. Is that a good move? Should I do it? Absolutely, that would happen. They'd want to know if Dale's a good guy, if it's somebody that he, can be responsible with it. Will he do what the contract says, etc. There's no way in heck that Steve Ballmer cut a $50 million check to this company and they didn't check with him if Kawhi Leonard should be a sponsorship of that company. There's no way it happened. There's no way Ballmer didn't know that was going on.
I think before we go any further, what you should do is explain to our viewers and listeners what they're being accused of.
Circumventing the salary cap. Basically signing a contract for him, which Kawhi Leonard in 2019 did not sign the maximum deal that he could have.
Well, and remember, we just saw this with the Suns. They were in the second apron of the salary cap.
So if you pay somebody less, pay them under the table in other ways, you avoid the taxes of the NBA, the aprons of the NBA, etc., because you're paying on that side. So you're still paying it, but you're not paying the extra stuff. Like being in the second apron, the Suns had to pay like double the taxes because they're in the second
and
apron.
They couldn't make certain moves.
And that money goes to other NBA owners.
Yeah.
So not only is the accusation Steve Ballmer's paying his star player on the side, the accusation is out there. He's ripping off his fellow NBA owners as well and keeping money out of their pockets.
That is true.
So it's always easier. Like, so I have an investment. I'll just say it. I have an investment company, right? And we have houses. I used to own a company that did all the remodel repairs. Why did I do that, Dale? Because
you were circumventing the salary cap.
Every time I repaired a house, I was paying myself to do it, right? I wasn't paying another company to do it in their salary. I was paying myself to do it. Makes sense. Steve Ballmer is giving $50 million to a company and basically getting the services of $28 million of it back into himself. He's I think Steve Ballmer's, because nobody's happy when you steal money from them.
No.
Billionaires in this environment are even more ruthless about it.
Well, it's like a triple-edged sword, because not only are you taking money out of some of those billionaires' pockets, but you're also, by doing this, allowing your team to make more maneuvers.
Yes. Well, that's the thing, yeah.
Which the Suns couldn't do.
You can sign Paul George. Yeah. You can go sign whoever on top of it because you're not in that apron.
You can get Beal to take you over that championship hump. And
maybe that's how he got Beal.
Yeah.
I was reading yesterday that penalties, because he doesn't have any other first-round picks. He doesn't care about money. Like, you can find him whatever. He just... whatever, is worth it. I don't know why. I don't know how you could say this was worth it, though, because you've won nothing. Now, if you won 7 championships, you go, this is worth it. It's like when the Minnesota Timberwolves did it. It was like, why did you guys do that with Joe Smith?
Yeah, it's just some of the people they've done it with. It's like, what?
Like, Kawhi Leonard plays a quarter of the games in an NBA season. What are you paying him like this for? Like, what are you doing? And stuff like that. It's fascinating. But it's a lesson of, and the NBA is the one league that doesn't sweep anything under the rug. They have no problem going after people. Ask Daniel Sterling, right? Ask Robert Sarver.
Donald, yeah.
Donald Sterling, whatever his name was. They go after people on this.
Yep.
This is a big deal. And the fact he ran to ESPN 2 days after it came out to state his case, and now Mark Cuban's out there doing 3-hour interview with Pablo Torre, defending it and how he's not dumb enough to do that and stuff like that. There's smoke here. There's fire here, folks. There's not just smoke. There's fire here.
Well, and evidently what I'd heard was Torre is also looking at somebody else in the NBA.
And that's the last thing I'll say. Steve Ballmer's not the only one doing this. You can't tell me. Okay, I'll just say this. I don't know the dynamics of the NBA. I tell you all the time about the NFL, where there are 4 or 5 owners that are closely knit, high-powered guys in the NFL, and they ignore other owners out there, right? I've told you guys this a lot of times. I don't know that dynamic in the NBA. I do question if Ishbia is in the it circle or not. I really do. I know Steve Ballmer is not. They actually don't like it. He's the richest NBA owner by far. He can do what he wants. He just does what he wants. He doesn't care what anybody else says. I'm not going to be too surprised if he gets hit pretty hard with stuff because they're not going to be sad if he sells his franchise.
Well, now they got that Intuit Dome or whatever they're calling that place.
He built that with his own money.
Spectacular, yeah.
He owns that all the time. So this is going to be fascinating to see where this goes, to be honest with you. Keep your eyes peeled on this story this football weekend because running to ESPN so quickly did raise my attention of, okay, he knows he's in trouble.
Well, that, or I've heard people say he wanted to get ahead of it.
Well,
because like a Sarver.
There's only one reason you get ahead of it, though.
No, not necessarily, because it's like a Sarver or something like that. The longer you remain silent, the more people can construe that as.
If you did nothing wrong and there's no hint of impropriety. Okay, here's the other side I'll say. Well, okay, if you did nothing wrong and there's no hint of propriety, you let the NBA do their investigation and then you speak. And you're not worried about it. Here's the other side of it. Generally, this isn't the only thing you're doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? You want to get in front of this because you don't want people going through your books. You don't want people investigating this because you don't know what else they might find happening out there.
Boy, you got this thing. They're just clandestine operation, like the cartel.
I'm telling you, it's big. This is a big deal. I'm excited.
You sound like Dave Nash.
Do I put my my hat on here? My whatever.
We really didn't land on the moon hat.
And then, do you guys hear about the World Trade Center?
Yeah, don't even.
I'm kind of excited.
I already had to hear that one time.
Robert says, in Lamb's defense, he heard the referee's footsteps and was bracing for impact. That's funny. He's not on the sideline, Robert. Not paying attention. So Steve Ballmer's situation is the most fascinating thing in sports to me. I'm actually mad it's breaking here during football season, at the beginning of football season.
Right.
On that deal. So pay attention to that. Then you got college football this weekend, Dale. Well, really quick, NFL, right? NFC East, I told you yesterday, Eagles, Washington, Dallas, Giants is what I have there. Even if Dallas does win 7, I think they're still behind Washington and Eagles, in my opinion.
I mean, again, the thing that scares you about Washington is it's historical. Most quarterbacks have a step back if they have a magical rookie year.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't think he's going to, Jaden Daniels, but it's historical. It's like, I know something's going to happen to the Cardinals.
But him taking a step back will just mean he's a top tier quarterback, not the historic level quarterback.
And that's what I think you're counting on. I think Washington will. I agree with the way that you picked it there.
And then NFC North, I have the Packers winning this division, partly because of what I talked about the Lions. I think the Lions are going to drop a few unexpectedly here at the start of the season to hurt them out. So I have Packers, Lions, Vikings, and then Bears. Vikings and Bears are going to be fairly close. And I'm talking 7, 8, 9 wins for those two. They're going to be battling it out here for that 4th spot here in this division. This division is going to be improved in win totals overall going into the season. Packers and Lions, though, well, Packers are going to be okay, but Lions are going to take a step back as well in terms of win totals.
Well, of course they're going to have. They won 15 games last year.
Yeah, they're going to be lucky to get 10 or 11 this year. They're going to get 10 or 11.
They won 15 games. They had to win 15 games because Minnesota won 14 games.
Exactly. Yeah, they won't have that pressure this year because the Packers, I think, are going to kind of win this division by 2 or 3. NFC South, I have Buccaneers, Falcons, Panthers, and then the Saints coming into here. Everybody's high on the Falcons. I can't trust their coaching staff. I can't trust the way Bijan Robinson. I still don't think they're using him properly. One of the most dynamic running backs in the league. I still think they don't know how to deal with him.
Well, I think the general consensus is Penix is going to be better this year than he was last year. And
he's going to be better than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. And so Tampa's the class of that. Oh, I'm sorry. Tampa's in that division.
Yeah. Buccaneers.
Did you pick them first?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And that's one reason why I went with them is I can't pull the trigger on the Falcons. But I do think Buccaneers are going to start taking a step backwards a little bit, right? And that division, we're not talking 12, 13 wins in this division. We're talking 9. Maybe somebody will get to 10 late in the year, NFC West was my hardest one to pick. And you said you're going Cardinals first?
Yeah.
We did not talk about I've got Cardinals winning this division. Seahawks second in this division. You want to know why, though? If Matthew Stafford's healthy all year, Rams are going to win this division. I'll just tell you that right now. Rams will win this division. I don't think he's going to be healthy all year.
See, the way that I would look at it, golly. I mean, so much. Again, if McCaffrey's going into the season injured.
And that's the other thing.
And it's a calf. It's a soft tissue. Isn't that what he had last year?
Yeah, and he missed a bunch of games.
Yes.
He's had it a couple times.
Because like Caitlin Clark, you have a soft tissue injury. Mm-hmm. You rehab, but you can't get to game speed until you try it in a game, and then you just re-injure it.
Then you can have a setback, re-injured, etc. So that's why I have it Cardinals, Seahawks, Rams, 49ers in this division. I don't know. I'm not high on the 49ers. They lost a lot of talent. Ayuk's still out. I don't know who Brock Purdy's throwing the ball to. Now McCaffrey's out. Where's your running game at on top of it?
He's questionable. He's not out.
Okay, but injured. Not 100%. Kittle? All right, just double team the tight end there. And that's why I have Rams and 49ers toward the bottom a little. But I'll say, if Stafford's healthy, I'm going to be wrong on this pick because the Rams are going to be competing to win this division. Stafford out? They're not.
I have it Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, Seahawks.
Seahawks are going to surprise me. They're getting back that defense, Dale. I'm telling you, the defense is there. Playoff teams in the NFC, by the way. I have Lions getting in, Falcons getting in, and Seahawks getting in as my second tiers. I have that.
Did I send you that thing that since for the last 30 years? Mm-hmm. Did I send you that?
No.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
What, repeats or something like that?
How many different playoff teams there are?
Isn't it 3 a year?
It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. No.
I think Washington misses the playoffs this year. That's my shocker pick there.
Yeah,
I got Lions, Falcons, and Seahawks.
That's not very smart. Boy, I don't even know what I did with that.
You just brought up history, and I'm just telling you, history tells you they're not going to make it. While you're looking for that, AFC East, I got Bills, Jets, Patriots, and then Dolphins in that division. Bills running away with this division, by the way. AFC North, I got Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, and then Browns. And they're all winning 9, 10, 11 games or more on this. Head of the crop will be the Ravens. All three teams, the Ravens, Bengals, and Steelers, will all make the playoffs going into this, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. That's my only one I'm worried about. AFC South, I have the Jaguars winning this division over the Texans.
It's about time somebody knocks the Texans off for that Saturday wildcard playoff game.
It'll be the Jaguars now. And the Texans will miss the playoffs. I have that as well. Then the Colts, Titans to finish that up. AFC West, I have Chiefs, Chargers, and I think they're going to be within a game or two at the end of the season here. This is going to be a closer division than you think it is. I do think the Broncos are taking a step back, and I think the Raiders are going to be better, but I have Broncos, Raiders on that side of things, and Chiefs and Chargers. Chargers making the playoffs here, Dale.
Well, they did last year, too, until your boy threw 4 picks. I didn't realize when I was reading the Harbaugh article that Herbert threw 3 interceptions the entire season.
Yeah, and then
4 in the playoff game.
Yeah, your first playoff game, sometimes you struggle. Uncle Lou, we'll do our college football picks at the end of the show when we get done with Lou. We have, of course, ASU, Mississippi State, Weber State, Arizona, Iowa State. Baylor plays your SMU. Baylor could start 0-2, Dale. And then, of course, Michigan, Oklahoma this weekend. We'll do those picks at the end of the show. For now, come on back, folks. Second hour main event with Uncle Lou, UFC Paris, NFL talk as well. Let's go, Uncle Lou. And we're back here, second hour main event. Friday this week, we get Uncle Lou. He's coming up here in just a second, but I'll post the NFC or the division stuff that I picked out over the weekend, of course, on the social medias, and everybody hold me accountable out there. Dale's high on Washington still. I don't get it. Our college football picks will come up after Lou. We'll do a couple minutes of overtime doing that as well. Riley had a conspiracy hat for me. It's a couple seconds late getting that ready there, but we have a new gimmick here we're going to do. Did you have that queued up, Riley, before we bring Lou on? Is that on there? Oh, he says 2 seconds to do it. Check this out when I do my conspiracy theories. It's going to be our new thing.
You should put that on
Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer did it, and he's keeping it a secret. NBA has been colluding against the salary cap for years. That's hilarious. Let's bring Uncle Lou up, of course, normally on Thursdays at 9 o'clock. This week, hanging out in Vegas and getting all of his, meeting all of his wise guys out there. I know we're not supposed to call him that anymore, Lou. I mean that in a loving fashion. How you doing, Lou?
Guys, I'm great. I'm tickled to be here with you on a Friday. Please forgive me if I can't get the image of a Hershey's Kiss out of my mind.
My conspiracy theory hat when I go on those conspiracy theory rants there.
Well, I gotta hand it to your technology department.
So, Lou, tell me real quick. You look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Are you still in Vegas?
No, I returned yesterday. I'm back in town.
Okay, you don't look any worse for the wear. Are you a late night guy in Vegas?
No, I don't know. My trips to Vegas are so different than everyone else's. First of all, my age, but really, I work there.
Yeah.
So my day starts at 5:30 with a little coffee. I'm in the spa from 6 to 7, just get a little steam room in, pamper myself, get my mind ready, and then I have meetings, and in meeting other guys in the industry, bookmakers, etc., and just keeping my contacts alive as well. Just staying connected. I'm very, very happy to say that I'm real connected in Las Vegas, and I work hard to keep my lines of communication open at all times.
All right, I just for some reason can envision a bald guy out on the dance floor at 2 a.m, hooping and hollering a little bit. And, yoo-hoo!
Yeah, those days, there was a day, but that day's long gone, my friend.
It just shows you how old Dale is. He's like hooping and hollering on the dance floor nowadays. Dale doesn't even know what kind of music is played in the club anymore at this point.
Well, I will say this. I've now determined that the nightclub scene in the Dallas documentary is in the third documentary, and so I am honing in on catching the young Dale at a nightclub, and I will get that done.
I'm glad to say nothing came out about me, because I was concerned, not about me, I was concerned about some other guys who, just innocently walking behind Michael Irvin or something going, hey, what were you doing at that bar?
Yeah, exactly. No, I love it. My dad used to tell me, listen, you hang around the stockyards long enough, you're going to smell like poop. So, guilt by association does work.
Lou, introduce yourself to everybody since you're in on a Friday. Our Friday football crowd is picking up. I've noticed that the last couple of weeks. So normally on Thursdays at 9 o'clock, coming in on Friday this week because of your travel. So tell everybody where they can find you, what you do, and all that good stuff.
I'm a sports handicapper that works just select sports, and everything that you can research on me or about me can be found at my website, gamblu.com. This is a big time of the year because not only do I work UFC, which you'll see on my daily blog, but the NFL's starting. I'm very active in that as well. Again, everything you can find, you really want to research about me can be found at the top of the webpage. I'm happy to say that we're really connected with supporting the San Xavier Del Bach mission just south of Tucson in Arizona. It's the oldest mission in the country. And Steve lets me highlight our mission to just support the mission as well. If you scroll down just a little bit there, Riley, thank you so much. You'll see there's a direct link to the mission. You don't have to get involved with Gamblu if you have some conscientiousness and want to support a really excellent Arizona cause. They're doing great work there. Thank you, Steve.
No worries. I'm glad to, you get that word out that you do that. So, if you invest with you on the UFC, it's affordable as well. You get the whole you get the whole year when you sign up, not a calendar year. But more importantly, like I said, portion of that does go to the charities. And I think that's important for people to know if they are looking at getting, some help with their, gambling stuff, that maybe you should choose somebody that supports good causes out there, right? So,
and not only, I'm not just here to take. If you got a 3-team parlay and 2 of the legs are in and you got a question, those are the kinds of things that I really enjoy doing, helping people. And Lou at gamblu.com is the webpage. never hesitate to ask a sincere, honest question, because you need a place to go to get a good opinion. And I don't want something from it. I want you to win. What I want is for players to be able to find a way to beat these crooks and their, 5-star parlays that they're shoving down our throats.
Yeah, the NFL season's here. I noticed that last night, the amount of parlays that were being out there and now busting with the boys, local kid Tyler Lewan's doing it now, where he's got a 4-person parlay that you can bet with them, and it's just like, what are we doing?
They're exposing the marketplace to these exotic parlays and they advertise, wow, what a great price. Let me just give you this stat though. In Nevada, it's a state full of casinos. UNLV did a 40-year study and they found that gross profit on parlays is 30%. Gross profit on any other sports book bet is 5%. So they're just being good business people by jamming those 2 and 3 team parlays down your throat. But you have to be smarter than that. You have to understand that you're way better off with straight betting or very, very select 2-team parlay.
Yeah, I was going to say, because since I've known you, you've had that philosophy, but yet you will bet a parlay or two every once in a while.
Often, I often bet a money line parlay, but it's 2 fighters. It's usually staggered from one point to another. I try and get one side in, and therefore hold price advantage on the second side. So I'm saying I do it actively, but I've been doing this for 40 plus years, and so I'm really trying to hit them where I think they're the softest, and not allowing them to try and take advantage of me where I have very little shot as well. The same game parlays that they offer you with 4 steps, if you go just to their menu and take the 4 steps on your own, you're probably going to get a better price if you do the steps on your own than taking them. They're in the business for business to make money. They want to do it off the young people that don't know what they're doing. Stay away from parlays as a whole.
Yeah, like Xavier Worthy to score a touchdown, Isaiah Pacheco to score a TD tonight, and Travis Kelce to score a TD tonight. Plus 2,800 are the odds on that going into it. And it tells you 8,600 people have placed that bet on DraftKings for tonight. For 3 different guys.
8,600 suckers.
8.6K is what it says. Yeah, right? And for especially week 1, 3 different guys to score a touchdown. I mean, there's a reason it's plus 2,300, but 8,600 people putting some amount of money on that.
And so I was talking to the guys at the Circa when I was up there, and they're like, Lou, how do you bet? I'm like, man, I'm an old school dude. I just bet sides and totals. And they were like, yeah, we do too. I'm like, but look at all these props and parlays and everything. You know what he said to me? He says, Lou, we need that to balance out our sharp action, meaning guys that shop at the Circa are after price and they take sides and they're beating Circa on the sides. The sharps are. Circa knows it. But how do they recoup some of that loss? By doing what these other clowns are doing and offering all these parlays and such. And the wave of betting this guy to score anytime touchdown and that, all those distraction bets, those are prop bets. Those help fuel the fire for where they're losing money on the straight sides and totals. So really, I feel very compelled and comfortable continuing to try and beat them on a pursuit that's very difficult, sides and totals.
Well, Circa doing that's one thing. It's the bigger casinos like MGM and Caesars, dare I call them out. They don't take a lot of sharp money. They reject a lot of that big money bet so they can just collect that lower amounts and that stuff. Too.
That's right. They just want suckers.
Yeah. So Circa wants the sharp guys. Yeah.
And listen, with the new rules that DraftKings just came out with, meaning if you get advantage and they find out 3 hours later that they don't like the advantage you got on the game, they'll just take your bet down. Yeah. DraftKings has gone from a sports book that I would use on occasion to one I won't even consider anymore.
Really?
They are out.
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing unscrupulous things, Dale.
I know you're going to be talking about fights and stuff like that, but I want to get your initial thoughts. We talked about the Cowboys-Eagles last night. I don't know if you bet the game or you didn't bet the game. But I walked away from that going, I think the Cowboys are going to be a little bit better than I thought they were going to be this year. I think they're more physical. I think they can score some points. And I think the Eagles will be fine as the season goes along. What say Lou?
Yeah, I think that I saw a great effort for the coach of Dallas. That's what I saw. And I do come away with the fact that I think Dallas is going to be a little bit better than people think. And I think that in 5-6 weeks, when we look back on it, we're going to say, hey, look at Dallas held Philly to 20.
Right.
Excuse me. Dallas held Philly to 24. No one else been able to. Right. It's just the first game. We can't get too excited. But I probably temper my thought on Philly a little bit because there was some funny play calling there. And let's not forget, there's been some strife with that head coach before.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not fully sold on that whole operation over there. And meanwhile, while I got an underbet on Dallas, I just look at the scorecard. It's 0-1, as good as I can do. But Dallas is going to be an offense that's going to score points. We know that.
Right.
I'm not going to get too excited over their offensive line over one game against a Philly team that lost its leader, who is a complete hack, no-class piece of you-know-what.
I love it, Lou.
Hey, really quick, Robert's asking, when you were talking earlier about sides and playing side, he asked, what are sides? Explain that a little bit to the novices
sides and total. Sides means I'm either taking Saints plus the 6.5 or the Cards minus 6.5. So it's one side or another of a football matchup. And totals means I'm taking over or under the number that they're going to give. Those are the foundation of my bets. Though I will say that there's 5 or 7% of parlays that creep in there under certain conditions. And I also am an aggressive teaser player. But again, the teaser prices have changed, and you just can't play a teaser, a 2-team 6-point teaser at minus 130 or minus 135. You can't do it. You're not going to win. And for those of you who just want to have fun, that's great. But DraftKings has really eliminated that. You have to go to a 3-team 6-point in DraftKings to get plus 160. That's a decent deal, and I may consider that. But for the most part, the modus operandi of the major legal books is suspect. They're just looking for fish. And what they're doing is driving people offshore, as opposed to what the whole intent of PASPA was, to legalize and bring all that in. I don't want to digress along those lines anymore. Suffice it to say that I consider DraftKings an unethical entity, and we're just going to move ahead from here.
Perfect. So NFL gets kicked off this weekend tonight. Chiefs, Chargers. Now, remind everybody what your philosophy is on Week 1 in terms of handicapping, betting, etc. Week 1 in the NFL.
Yeah, I was hoping that I could come on before your last segment so I could say this, because almost everything I heard in your last segment was contrary to what I'm about to say, and that is this. I really challenge anyone who has spent more time digesting, uncovering research, and doing due diligence for this year's NFL. There could be guys that have done more work, okay, but I'm confident in how much work I've done. I'm also absolutely certain of this one thing, and that is that going into Week 1, I don't know anything. I know that, and I'm so comfortable knowing that I can step back and allow Week 1 to manifest itself with all the people that think they know something. Those people have done less research than me. I feel confident that their opinion is not 100% accurate. Again, Socrates says you want to be wrong, follow the masses. So in Week 1, we're just going to sit back and see where the tsunami wave of public goes and make it easy on ourselves and simply go the other way. For a month, I've been telling you that we're going to be on New Orleans, and you're not going to have to wait another month to hear it, because we're on New Orleans at 6.5 is the best bet this week on the card. Why? Because just obtuse numbers have come in on the other side. I mean, 80% of the bets and 90% of the money at Circa is on the Cardinals. And at DraftKings, it's even more, because it's more of a public outfit. So everybody knows what's going to happen. I'm not saying the Cardinals don't win, I'm saying that I think that's going to be just an ugly 15-12 game, and the Cardinals may win, but they're not going to cover the 6.5, a game that opened months ago at 4.5. So if you wait till Sunday, let everybody get beat up tonight on Brazil, let them bet their college on Saturday, and then wait for the 7 on Sunday for the Saints. But the Saints at home, it's as good as I got.
So you'd be fine with the 7 on Sunday going with this. Obviously, that helps you out, right? But that puts the push into line, right?
Yeah, 7 is a really important number, and yeah, you don't lose on if I lose by 7 and I got the 7, I don't lose. Anytime in the NFL that you make a wager and it doesn't lose, you're a winner.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. I was talking with another buddy of mine how close Vegas is on their lines most of the time, vast majority of the time, and how many times that damn hook will get you.
Well, Vegas is able to create a market that's shy of the stock market's really efficient because there's an awful lot of money in the NFL markets. And on Monday, their lines aren't always tight because they offer the early lines on Monday for guys like me and others to bet into. They want the sharp guys to bet into their numbers so they can see what they should be come the weekend when the public gets them. So the makers and the wise guys, there's a lot of positive communication. The guys I was meeting with were bookmakers too. And we're talking all about the same thing. Even though we have different interests, we're all in this together.
And that's what fascinates me the most about what you guys do in that type of stuff. Because you think there'd be some, butting heads there between you and bookmakers and stuff. But it is an actual work together to get that number right, to make it fair. Well, I'm going to use the word fair, but make it even, I guess I should say, right, on where the money falls on both sides, right? So
to make it efficient. By Friday, Saturday, that's an efficient market.
And it's amazing how to get there, it goes that route. So, it's fascinating to see. So you have Saints plus 6.5 this weekend. They should be able to cover that against the Cardinals here. Some other, week 1 games that are kind of fascinating here, right? Lions at the Packers. We don't know if Micah Parsons is going to play yet there. I'm concerned about, the offensive coordinator, defensive position there for the Lions and stuff like that going into this. I don't think we've talked to you since the Micah Parsons trade went on, right? I think it happened the last time I saw you, last Thursday, on this. How does that change your opinion of the Packers going into the season?
Very little, and way less than what the market perceives. They've bet them all the way into number 1 position in the division and such. And I think people are making too much of it for the Packers. And I also think marked by your cherry on the top diatribe about the demise of Detroit that you're as wrong as you could be there. I don't believe that. I don't think they're winning 14 or 15.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
But at the end of the year, I think they'll not only be in the playoffs, but they'll be stronger and playing on an ascent as opposed to a descent. Detroit's a team I tend to like based on the amount of people that are doubting them, especially in lieu of this Parsons trade.
Yeah, and we went through this last time because you nailed me on it then too. You sure like to bring that up. But I'm just saying Detroit's not winning 15 games. They're still going to win 10, 11. They're going to lose a few more than they should because of that coordinator type of position. They're still going to be really, really good out there. So I just want to keep
and they're in a good division. Green Bay is going to be good. And make no mistake about it, I think Minnesota's going to be good. And Chicago's not going to be terrible. Chicago will be a better team at the end of the year than at the front. They got a lot to work on. I don't think that quarterback there now going to be there next year. We'll wait and see how that all works out.
You do a lot of studying, as you said, as much as anybody and more than 95% of people. Do you put anything on you lose both coordinators from a really good football team? Does that go into your equation at all?
It must. It absolutely must. Now, in this case, in Detroit, these guys were with Detroit. So there's some smoothness to the transition. But you still got the head coach there. Ragnow, the center, that's probably as concerning as the two coaches. So yeah, I think that's the basis, Dale, for why I don't think that Detroit going to win 15 games again. I think it's 11.
Right.
How do you handle going into the season, the injuries that we're starting to see come out here, right? Christian McCaffrey yesterday, calf, for the 49ers going into week one. And so obviously something to monitor. Matthew Stafford, they claim he's going to play, but how efficient is he going to be? Is he going to make it through the whole season? So how are you looking at that going into week one? I know in week one, I guess we didn't explain this. Week one, you're already looking ahead to week two, right? You're looking a week ahead at that point. So how are you going to go into this weekend with those injury concerns, Christian McCaffrey, Matthew Stafford, looking towards week two on that side? How does that work from your handicapper mind, I should ask?
So Tuesday, week two's lines came out. I recorded them. That's the end of week two now. Okay. I got week one right in front of me. As soon as week one, we get to the Sunday night game, I'll start looking at week two and seeing how these numbers have been changed from what they were a week ago. That's called the look ahead line. But I don't really pay attention to two so much that it gets in the way of week one. Yeah. There is a system, however, and so I follow that system. And really, week one, I'm simply going to be fading the public. We'll go very conservative. How do I handle the questions that I have with Detroit coaching and the offensive line? How do I handle the concerns I have with San Francisco and their lack of skilled players, even though I know Juwan Johnson's going to play at 100%? How do I handle the Stafford thing? Those are all legitimate questions, and I handle them by being in a huge rush. I mean, a frantic rush to do nothing but be patient and watch and see what happens so it can define for me any advantage I can try and ascertain. I'm not a spec guy that, I had an Achilles injury once and there's no way this guy can this or that. No, we don't play it like that. It's the beginning of the year. Back in my day, you had to get all your futures and everything done by week one because once the first game started, you couldn't play futures now into week 2, week 8. Now you can. Everything's changed. And so I want to play by the rules by which I have advantage over the book. And that's by being selective. The book wants me to play by their rules, start firing on anything that moves because that's in their advantage. I refuse to play by their advantage.
My last NFL one for you here, and then we'll wrap up, move to UFC side, and I'll let you do anything else. You were just in Vegas talking to those handicappers, stuff like that. In terms of a look ahead, teams that the public is kind of betting on Super Bowl favorites, things like that. Any insight, at least in terms of that outlook from the Vegas numbers and stuff like that?
Steve, we talked less about who's going to do this and that and more about season win totals. That's kind of where who's going to do better, who's going to do worse. Just yesterday, I released one positive, meaning I'm on Dallas under and I'm on Buffalo under, and those are already put to bed. So what are the overs? What are the positive ones I like? And I put together a little 2-teamer. I was very safe. This is what you can do if you shop on DraftKings and FanDuels and such. And you can go to these 2 teams. And one is the Raiders. I am not afraid of anything the Raiders are doing. Why? Because under Pierce, they were able to somewhat compete just by the fact that Pierce was a rah-rah guy, couldn't find his rear end with 2 hands and an Indian guide as far as coaching. Now they got a coach in Pete Carroll. And so I think the Raiders offer some opportunity. So over 6.5 wins for the Raiders, that's a -200. And we're going to take it with Atlanta. We're going to go to the division that changes division leaders almost every year. It didn't last year, but it's about to this year. And I think that the Bucs are smoke and mirrors, man. They're going to have to prove it to me. Meanwhile, I like what's happening in Atlanta. I like a strong offensive line. They got it. I like a good running back. They got that too. And I like skill positions. They got that and a young quarterback can throw the ball from here to Tucson. So I think that Atlanta at 6.5, now that's -225. I'm taking their totals down a little bit, I'm paying a price, but I'm tying the two of them together. There's your parlay, and it's at DraftKings. But I'm taking advantage of DraftKings where they can help me, not where I'm helping them. And I'm taking Raiders over 6.5 minus 220. Minus 200. I'm taking the Atlanta over 6.5 minus 220. 1 unit returns 1.08 units. You're getting plus money on that, and I'll watch that all season long.
Yeah, it sounds great. Now, on the overside line, I have one more question because you just brought it up. You said earlier, right, going into week one is where you start looking at the over numbers. Up until, all off season, you look at the under totals, etc. What point, like if you would have pulled the trigger on the Niners, I'm just going to use the Niners as an excuse. I know Christian McCaffrey's questionable, but then you find out about a calf injury and you like them as over and you bet it, let's say Monday, Tuesday, you get that. Now that where the games are this weekend, we know how practices has gone. Is that where you can look and feel more comfortable pulling the trigger on the overs going into this, or should you still wait till after today's practices, for instance, to get into those over numbers and be more comfortable with
I really need to get on the other side of training camp so that I can see depth charts and see how things are. McCaffrey's calf is like a bucket of water in the middle of the Arizona desert in July. It's going to draw a lot of attention. Why? Because there's nothing to talk about right now.
Yeah, okay.
McCaffrey's fine. Don't worry about him. That offense is fine. They got a very easy schedule. I mean, San Fran specifically as a team, I think it's going to be strong in a conference that's going to be very, very strong. I agree with you that Seattle is a sleeper team. But I don't really allow the press to move me right now. But I count on the press to move the public.
Exactly. And then you come out on the other side, right? Lou, finish up. Anything else you want to say going into week one of the NFL? And then we'll take our break and then talk Paris this weekend on the UFC side.
We've been waiting so long to be able to bet the NFL. Just because it's week one doesn't mean you have to empty your what do they call the thing in the gun? You don't have to unload all your shots right now. Betting early again, especially
shoot your load.
Trust me when I say we don't know. What was that?
Shoot your load. You have to shoot your load.
Well, I was looking for something maybe a little bit more delicate. But you shoot the whole cartridge of your automatic gun. Now you're out of bullets. I'm really into patience and going slow. I want to be right. My job is to win, and if I can do it with one game and walk, I'll do that. It doesn't have to be a lot, especially when I know that I don't know a dadgum thing.
Absolutely. So Lou joins us. So those of you catching us here on the Friday, normally on Thursdays at 9:00. So make sure you check that out. Free podcast is out there. We'll get this out as well. And new thing is YouTube. The whole show goes up there as well for everybody on demand, of course, at Robat TV with your subscription as well. So Lou, we'll take our quick break here. Come on back and talk a little UFC fighting for breakfast on Saturday morning, right? For the prelims and everything. So come on back, folks. The main event with Uncle Lou. And we're back here. Main events. Friday with Uncle Lou this week. Lou, I'm going to be all weekend long, going to be off a day now because you're here on Friday. I'll be thinking today's Thursday all day, right? So weigh-ins happened last night, I'm assuming, at Paris time. So you saw the weigh-ins. So a little bit, get you a little bit later than we normally do on Thursdays, of course, going into this fight this weekend.
Yeah, and that's a good news, Steve, because the weigh-ins have happened. I've watched them. I've digested them. We lost a fight. Here's a debuting kid here to fight Patricio Pitbull Freire, a guy with a huge name. Huge fight for this kid. He misses weight by a ton. They cancel the fight. What a freaking maroon, man. You get your opportunity. Now, you know what I do with that kid? You got to fight the weight class up, and then I'd give him the biggest mass murderer on the organization, just have them smear him all over the canvas. Listen, the UFC hates when this happens. Anyway, most of the fighters came away unscathed. The fight card is from Paris. There's 5 Parisians on the 14 fight card. There's also another 5 or 6 Belgian, English, Welsh fighters from around the area that will also garner favoritism from the French crowd. And then there's a bunch of Brazilians and Americans they brought in to be the marks and hopefully get KO'd and smashed. So we got to know who all of those are. It's going to be a great card. Kicks off at 9 a.m. and the main card then kicks off at noon, which is perfect because I don't watch college football. And so we'll have fights, and then maybe I'll look at a little something in the afternoon in the college football world, only because at 5 o'clock, I'll look at that NFL board and it'll start to show all kinds of color. Why? Because the public's going to bet from yesterday into tonight's game, into tomorrow's game, get their brains beat out on Saturday. Then they're going to look to the NFL, and that's right where I want them.
Well, the rest of us are watching Michigan, Oklahoma. Lou's going to be taking advantage of the betting markets out there. That's why Lou makes money.
Is that the night game Saturday, Steve?
It's a late game. It's not the late game, but I want to say 4:30, something like that. Oklahoma. It's in Oklahoma, so it's the big game of the night. Going into that, unless you like Weber State, Arizona.
Who would be favored in that game? Oklahoma?
You know what? I had it here. Let me pull it up real quick, and I'll tell you. I'm going to guess Oklahoma's favored, but let me look it up here real quick while we're talking about it.
Michigan.
Oklahoma's favored by 5.5. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
just being at Oklahoma, just kind of Michigan to Oklahoma. That's a big change.
A couple of big names anyway.
Right, exactly. So that's a 4:30 kickoff. Everything after that, like I said, Weber State, Arizona, UC Davis, Washington. That type of stuff in the afternoon.
Who's the Harvard of the Southwest Arizona playing?
Weber State.
Oh, there's one we should get.
You guys should start off 2-0.
I know.
How about it?
On your way to the college football playoff. I hear
that's what I'm talking about, Dale. That's what I'm talking about.
So in the fight coming up here in Paris, bunch of prelim fights, of course, starts at 9 a.m. our time here. Early prelim fights, I don't know. Shauna Bannon, Sam Hughes, a female's strawweight bout to start off the morning for us, right? You got Andres Gustafsson, Renette. I'll just call him Renette F here for you. I mean, are these early fights? Should we be getting up early watching these fights instead of college football in the morning for the prelims?
Yeah, I don't know if I can sell that. What I can sell is that these should be decent fights. The Hughes Bannon fight. Bannon is an Irish fighter. She's there because she is an Irish fighter. There's only one problem with her. She can't fight a lick. Hughes ought to wipe the floor with her. And there's one U.S. fighter has the leg up. The other one you mentioned was Gustafsson Fakhretdinov. Hey, Fakhretdinov opens -300. Now that fight's a pick. And it's because he's a Russian vice grip. But most Russian vice grips get stronger as the fight goes on. Fakhretdinov goes the other way. After about halfway through the fight, he sucks out and runs out of juice. And that's why they're betting the Swede, Andreas Gustafsson here. That thing's now a pick 'em. I'm interested in watching the fight. How far has Fakhretdinov failed? The only way for me to bet that would be to take Fakhretdinov and get all the value off that opening number, but I don't know if I can. So I will watch and learn. Remember, the sports books, whether it's football or fighting or hockey, they have to post all the games. We don't have to bet all the games. We get to shoot with a rifle and select which ones we want. Now, here's a couple of fights on the undercard that I do want to take a look at. One is Sam Patterson against this kid Waters from the U.S. Waters, long, tall, drink of water, no power whatsoever. He's there to be served up. This kid Patterson is usually the longer, taller guy in the ring. He won't be against Waters, but he's mean. He's got some power. He's from England. He'll have the crowd. In a fight line 2.5 over like -270 or 280.
It's over. It's over 1.5 right now on DraftKings.
Oh, that's the 1.5. Excuse me. Okay, over 1.5. Yeah, and it's 1.5 because Patterson has some power. Believe me, Waters is there to be the statue for Patterson and this is designed to make Patterson look great, get a finish, and rouse the crowd. Then the other one, that's a big favorite, so we're going to put him in to another big favorite. And the other big favorite that I want to put him into is Craig and Bukauskas. Excuse me. The other big favorite I want to put him into is Gomes and Rucala. Why? Gomes is a French fighter fighting in France. He's got UFC experience, and he's taller and longer. He's got no power, but he's going to pitter-patter and use his feet to create a decision against a guy from Poland that's a wrestler-grappler, shorter than he, making his debut. And so I'm taking those two big, heavy favorites and putting them together in a little parlay to make just about even money with those two guys, just because I do feel that there is a script here, and the script when the UFC travels is to try and make some of the local fighters look good. So one other fight on the undercard, you go to the heavyweights, and you got a Croatian named Delija who has one fight in the UFC against a nominal fighter, and he's taking on a guy in Marcin Tybura from Poland who has a vast amount of UFC experience. And though Tybura is 39 years old, Delija is 35. So there's not the huge age difference here. Tybura has been in with a great level of UFC opponent. He's also got great experience. He's very well-rounded. He's going to be 20 pounds the heavier man in this fight. Tybura opened 200 as a favorite. Now we can get him as a pick. Okay, market says that they think this Croatian Delija is going to saw through Tybura. Great, prove it to me. I'm from Missouri. You're going to have to show me. Give me Tybura at a plus 100, and don't be in a hurry to bet it. Take your time, because he could be plus money by the time the fight rolls around.
Yeah, right now, just so everybody knows, on DraftKings, minus 108 for Tybura, and then Delija there's a minus 112 on DraftKings. Obviously, if you shop it around, but you think money will continue to go towards the Croatian in this fight?
It has since it's been opened, and you're right, shop around, especially if you just have DraftKings. You hate your money.
Yeah.
You get a couple other places.
I know. I used to do FanDuel all the time. Now that you're talking like this, I got to go back to FanDuel. Just UFC. They make the UFC odds so much easy to look up from what I got here in front of me. But so those are the prelims out there. Anything with the other? That's a heavyweight bout. There's a light heavyweight bout right before the main events. Umar Sy and Brendan Ribeiro. And a fight to pay attention to here. What's the difference between a light heavyweight and a heavyweight, by the way? Aren't they pretty much the same type of fighting?
Anybody can fight at heavyweight, but in order to fight at light heavyweight, you have to weigh in at 206 or lower. And so these 206ers, these guys that weigh in, both Ribeiro and Sy, they're going to weighed 206, and they'll fight at 228 probably when they get in the cage. When they get in the cage tomorrow, especially Sy, who's huge. He's French, so we got a Frenchman against a Brazilian, and Brendan Ribeiro looks the part, and he's a flamboyant striker, but he's really not very good. This is, again, a complete setup fight for Sy to look good. Sy's 2 inches taller, got a 2-inch reach advantage, and is a minus 3-something favorite here.
Minus 485 right
destroys.
Now. Yeah, minus 485 right now. Yeah.
Sy destroys this guy.
Over under is 1.5 on this one. So yeah, it seems to be over is minus 135, but it seems to be a fast one.
You said
all the U.S.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, please, Dale.
I was just going to ask you one quick question about the heavyweight division. Isn't there a limit on how much you can weigh in the heavyweight division too, or is that not a thing?
It's absolutely a thing, and it's 260.
260 is the most you can weigh to be in the UFC. So I'm out. I'm out. Because I was thinking about making a comeback, but I'm out.
Oh, no, I had you at light heavyweight.
Sorry, that just gave me vibes here, man.
And excuse me, it's actually 265. And so for a title fight, you got to hit the 265. Okay. And for normal guys like the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, he gets that extra pound 266. To him, that's everything. Oh. Then he can go back to eating. So
then they go back up to what weight though? 290, 300?
Yeah.
Wow.
Depends on the guy, but
Yeah.
Lewis will.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Of course, on the main events that start at noon here, our time on Saturday. What's the Paris, France crowd going to be like? Is my question, because I'm going to upset some people here, but we don't think of them as a raucous, vicious crowd, right? Over there in Paris. So, what's that crowd going to be like?
Well, Paris is a good fight town, and the UFC's returning there after maybe a couple years, so maybe even less. They've got some French athletes between Paris and England. That's really a hotbed for them to recruit and grow in Europe, and so they've been good to Paris. There's a couple of good gyms there. The 5 Parisian fighters on the card are all good and apt. And so I think you're going to have a great crowd. You won't notice the difference between them and the Saudi crowd, except the fact that you rarely get any females in a Saudi crowd, and crowds everywhere else will have females. And there's a lot of female followers in the UFC. They're big fans too.
Absolutely. You see them actually when people reach out to me or I talk to people, it's a lot of female reaching out to me asking about it and talking about it than it actually, because I think men just assume that we're all into it, right? Kind of a situation. So
Steve, they're just warming up because you're such a handsome devil. That's why that happens.
Don't be getting me in trouble, Lou. Don't be getting me in trouble. They just want access to Lou, I think, is what they want.
Hey, Lou, before you guys go on anymore, I just want to know: are you anticipating excitedly the Tyson Mayweather vicious bout coming up here in a little bit?
Way to go, man. Way to serve me up. I mean, the only suckers that will buy that is the whole world of boxing fans, of which there's many, because that's what they do. That's why these two guys can get a heavyweight against a featherweight. We're going to get together and throw an exhibition because why? Because we know there's enough suckers out there we can each make a couple million. Dale, I wish you and I could do that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the heavyweight and featherweight side of things. It's just I know it's whatever it is. So.
Well, Tyson's probably not quite the heavyweight anymore, and I know Floyd's table manners got him well heavier than featherweight.
That's true. Floyd's come up. Did you run into him while you were in Vegas by chance? While you were there,
No.
you see him running around?
No.
So then we already talked about the Gomez fight there. You said parlay that in with Patterson to get 2 heavy favorites down to a more respectable number. But then you got Axel Osola and Rice McGee battling out welterweight bout here on the main card here from Paris.
Late addition to the card. I didn't handicap it. Got no clue. Reese McKee, an English fighter, I'll say that. He'll have some crowd with him. He's decent, but again, they lost a couple fights. And the UFC, again, I'll criticize them when it comes to fighter pay, but when it comes to their deftness and their aptitude at filling slots when fighters get hurt or miss weight at the last minute is sensational. And so they slipped this one in short notice.
I just couldn't imagine. You're just sitting there training, and then the UFC calls and goes, "You want to fight Saturday night? All right, let's go."
Well, no, it's no secret. When you say yes to the UFC, they will do you favors and take care of you. And here's another one. You better not say no to it.
That's the thing from that side. Let me ask you this. On the fighter that missed weight by just a ton, from that, should he have even been fighting at that weight? Or was it just laziness and the lack of effort to get down to that weight?
Well, it was his debut in the
That's
UFC.
what I mean.
I can't answer that, but to me, he's trying to cut too much weight for unfair advantage. Make him move up, and then give him a top 5 guy, and let's see what he's made of.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
I'm really headstrong in these guys that are bullies that decimate themselves to get to a lower weight to try and have size advantage or some advantage over their opponent.
But doesn't the UFC have a say in that also? Like when they pick that fight, they got to look at a guy and go, "You're a heavyweight. There's no way you're going down to, whatever, light heavyweight or whatever." Don't they have a say in that, or is it the fighters or the UFC?
Yeah, they have a say. They say, "We're signing you to this fight. The contract says this, and that's what you got to make." Right. And when they don't, it upsets them.
Okay, that makes sense then. Okay. Then you got Balaji Oki and Mason Jones battling out Belgium and Wales fighters here in a lightweight bout from the main card.
it may be the best fight on the whole card here because of the stylistic. You got two strikers want to make a go of it. Oki, fast, slick, powerful, chiseled out of marble. The guy is really a specimen, an athlete, but little inexperienced, not very good wrestler. Mason Jones won't nearly be as athletic, fast, quick, or precise with his strikes, but he is tough, durable, forward pressing, aggressive, and he can wrestle. And therein lies the difference. I think Mason Jones is going to do his best to smother Oki's ability to move, press him against the fence, negate his space, and then try and rough him up from inside. But if he can't get inside and a hold of Oki, this is going to be a tough night for Jones. And meanwhile, for Oki, he has to keep distance because if he don't, he's going to get rubbed out.
So is there a chance of a finish in this fight, or is it most likely going to the decision in your eyes?
I think if it finishes, if Jones gets him late, you can see what the total in their fight.
Yeah, 2.5 minus 166 to the over.
Yeah. These are two really good athletes. I don't see Oki getting Jones out of there. If anything, it would be Jones getting Oki out of there. And more than likely, I see probably Mason Jones winning because of his well-rounded fight arsenal, the fact he can wrestle.
Perfect. Then we got Modestas Brukakis and then Paul Craig coming up in this fight as well. We've seen Paul Craig several times here. He seems to fight like every couple of weeks. I know I'm exaggerating here, but it seems like he's on a fight card a lot lately.
Paul Craig, he's a he's a Welshman. He's not a Welshman.
Scotland.
Craig is Scottish, yes, and he's fighting Bukauskas, a Lithuanian. So you got Eastern European against Northern European. I love fights like this. This is simple. Craig has to get his arms on him and get him down. Craig's fought elite competition. He's beat the current champ, but he's singularly dimensioned, and if you sneeze in his face, he'll fall like a redwood in the forest. So he's got to.
There it is. There it is. I love it.
That's right. So how about this one? Bukauskas has to keep it standing, and he's got to slap him with everything but a subpoena. And if he can keep this thing standing and at distance, Bukauskas can win this fight. He knows that's what he has to do. So you got Craig, a huge underdog with the UFC experience and been in with way better against a guy stepping up against him. And I think it's a good recipe for Craig.
Well, Craig, last time we both liked him in his last fight, and he was winning that fight. It ended up being a no contest. I think it was a poke in the eye or something that ended that fight.
Against Renato Bellato, you're exactly right. See, I got Steve Steve is now evolving into a UFC fan. I love that.
I like
and
Paul
you're
Craig.
Right.
Yeah, I like Paul Craig a lot.
He has a bad taste in his mouth from that. Yeah. And this Bellato's a big, huge, tough, mean dude. Maybe higher on the evolutionary UFC scale than Bukauskas. Now, again, if Bukauskas keeps it standing, he can find Craig. And so it's, you want to play one or the other. You play Bukauskas KO or you play Craig via submission. That's those are the two ways this fight got end.
Yeah, and I remember Craig, I felt so bad for him because he had that fight won and, ended up getting no contest on that. I was actually kind of mad about it at that time. So I was rooting for him. I don't know why I like the guy. I just like
you and me both. We had a good dog and we didn't get it.
Benoit St. Denis and then against Ruffy here coming up, light heavyweight bout here in the main event. Co-main event. Benoit
Saint Denis is an ex-French war paratrooper military hero now fighting in the UFC. Unfortunately for him, after a pretty decent start, they tossed him in too much too soon, and he drowned in his last couple of fights. And now in his last fight, I should say 3 and 2 fights ago, he was drowned. They give him a stiff in his last fight, and so now he has momentum coming into being the co-main event in this fight. And Benoit Saint Denis is going to have to use everything he has to take the distance away from this Brazilian nerd named Hoofy. This Hoofy is one bad hombre. If we remember him last, he's the guy that threw that spinning heel kick that hit Bobby Green in the temple and crumpled him like a suit falling off a hanger. I'm telling you what, this Huffy is one bad hombre, but he's going to need distance to operate. Can BSD take the distance away? Can Hoofy keep his distance? Whichever is the answer to that question will tell you who's going to win. But I think that this is a tall task for Benoit Saint Denis, even though the money's coming in on him a little bit.
I'd say, I don't know what he opened at. Right now he's at plus 140. But I mean, over under is, 1.5 on this fight for minus 160 to that over as well from that for the co-main event. Co-main event, 3 minutes or 5 minutes here in this fight?
3 rounds, 5 minutes.
Yeah. 3 rounds. So, okay, perfect. So that'll be an interesting style difference for these two guys.
Don't miss it. I mean, between Jones and Oki, and then Bukauskas and Craig, and then that main card's going to be worth watching, and it's on ESPN Plus, so it's not a pay-per-view.
So then you've got the main event here: Imavov and Baralho battling it out. I remember Baralho because he scares me in his picture, so I won't forget him. We've seen Imavov a few times here, now fighting a home country guy there in France. Baralho is a favorite coming into this, minus 130 right now on DraftKings. Tell us about this main event.
Yeah, and it was Imavov that opened minus 130, as you would expect. He's the longer, taller, bigger, structured man fighting. He's a Russian fighting, but he trains in Paris. So he's fighting in his home crowd. The whole crowd going to be there for him. You look at the total in the fight, 4.5 rounds listed over. And that's because both of these guys are absolute studs. These are 2 top 5 guys in the division. At the end of the day, I think Baralho's a little nuttier. I think he's going to apply a little more pressure, and I think as the fight goes on, he may wear the Frenchman down. Imavov is big and strong. He's not quite the grappler that Baralho is. And I think Baralho going to be very forceful in trying to get to the inside and force Imavov to effort. The difference here, I think, is Baralho's cardio, and that's what's going to make the difference in the fight in what I consider to be a really close decision fight. And just understand, in a real close decision, sometimes you might want the Frenchman in France, in Paris. I'm not taking that route. I'm going the other way.
That's what I was just going to ask you. Home cooking in a close fight there for the decision, something to worry about. Going at the French would never do that, Lou. Come on, never. They'd never do something.
Well, I don't know whether the French would do it or not, but these judges sure will, and they do it. Doesn't matter where they're at.
So we got some good UFC fights getting back underway from Paris. Middle of the day fights as well. Of course, NFL this weekend. If you missed it earlier, he does like the Saints covering the 6.5. This weekend as well, and gave us some overs. So from that, I was like, "Where'd Lou go?"
Yeah. Well, he picked the Saints, and he just hightails it out of here.
So Lou,
that's right. You won't see me till Monday after that pick.
So Lou, appreciate you coming in on the Friday this week. You'll be back to your normal Thursday in studio next week as well. Of course, we'll talk UFC for the fight coming up there. We come back to the States next time, and let me double check it. I want to say it's San Antonio.
No, we're 2 weeks away, and I think in 2 weeks, I don't know where they are.
San Antonio.
Antonio. Oh no, that's next week for Noche, and then we're 13th. Off 2 weeks.
Yeah, then you're off. Then you're off till the 27th. Yes. So Paris this week, San Antonio next week. Of course, come on, we'll talk NFL as well. So Lou, appreciate you joining us on this Friday. We'll see you next week. All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a great one. And for everybody else out there, really quick, we'll go into a little bit of overtime here because we didn't get too much conversation on college football here. I'm just going to assume, Dale, you're going to pick Arizona beating Weber State this weekend.
And by the way, just so when you're talking about it's Weber.
Weber State. I call them Weber State.
You've said that a few times.
I know. I call them Weber State.
No, you don't.
Where are they from, Dale? Where is Weber State from?
Weber.
That's Weber.
It's from Ogden, Utah.
Yes, they are, yes.
Don't ask me questions that
I make fun of them. I can't stand them.
They've done nothing to you.
They do. They're from Ogden, Utah. Bothers me. Just north of Salt Lake City there. Yeah, I know.
You're ridiculous.
I know. When you make fun of places and you say their names wrong, you just say it wrong all the time. Can't get it right anymore. That's my problem with those UFC names.
I was going to say, why do you put yourself through that? Just say, hey, in the next fight, Lou.
Because it's part of the gimmick now. A couple of people have gotten mad at me, like, be respectful with these fighters. And I'm like, if they're in front of me, I'll be very respectful. Let's make no bones about that. I'm assuming you got Arizona this weekend?
Yes.
It's not even going to be close. Arizona impressed me last weekend, and I expect them to keep it going this weekend, at least there. Iowa at 16th ranked Iowa State, 9 a.m. kickoff our time. Iowa State, obviously, Big 12, so pay attention to that. Rivalry game between these two. I don't know if Iowa can score 7 points in this game, let alone any more than that. I have Iowa State winning this game. They're in Ames, Iowa, of all places.
Yeah, and it's interesting because for so long, Iowa's been the big bully in the state of Iowa, and now you got Iowa State, good coaching staff. They'll be in the thick of things come when it comes time to figure out the Big 12. I'll go with Iowa State.
Iowa State also in this one, and then your 17th ranked SMU Mustangs. Go Mustangs!
Go ahead and take the Baylor Bears.
Against Baylor Bears this weekend.
Go ahead and take
I am not taking the Baylor Bears. They're starting the season 0-2.
I think more of my money went to Baylor than it did to SMU.
Well, you got scholarship to SMU, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. And Baylor isn't cheap. It costs a lot to have students murder people. Just saying. Big thing there in Waco. Do you still enjoy Waco? Like when you used to have to go visit your daughter there and everything? Was it fun for you to visit Waco? Did you just wake up in the morning and be like, finally, back to Waco?
I very much disliked Waco. It was I liked the school. I liked the campus.
School's beautiful.
My
Tucson.
My last two choices were Baylor and SMU.
Really?
And Waco, Dallas.
Was Baylor good back then?
Oh, yeah. They were. Yeah. Grant Taft was the coach.
See, I only remember Baylor ever being good when RG3 went there and they had that resurgence. It's the only time I remember Baylor.
Grant Taft was the coach. Mike Singletary was there. They won a couple of Southwest Conference
I forgot
championships.
Singletary went there. Yeah, see, so Baylor, SMU. Obviously, you've got SMU in this game. I do also. I don't believe the Baylor hype. Of course, ASU has Baylor as their first Big 12 game coming up. That non-conference games don't mean anything, in terms of the Big 12 side of it. But I think Baylor starting and struggling this season is going to affect them when Big 12 play comes up here. And I think, unfortunately, their record's not going to be good when that happens coming up for them. And you didn't say it officially, but I'm assuming you have SMU?
Yes.
Go Mustangs!
Only 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah, that worries me a little bit. What don't we know?
Well, it's a sold-out Gerald R. Ford Stadium. I know that.
In Dallas?
In Dallas on the SMU campus.
I wonder how much Gerald Ford paid for that sponsorship.
I have no idea.
His presidency.
I don't know if it's actually. I think it's a different Gerald Ford.
Oh, it's not even the president.
No.
It's a real. Oh,
I think somebody did pay for it.
If they paid more than like Chick-fil-A or somebody can pay for that sponsorship.
Wow.
Michigan, Oklahoma is the other big matchup here as well. 15th ranked Michigan going to 18th ranked Oklahoma. I think anytime you take kids from the Midwest, and not that Ann Arbor's like the big city, you got to go live there, and it's the greatest place to be. But anytime you take kids out of that environment and take them to unknown places like Oklahoma, a little bit of a culture shock, even though you're just landing, going and playing football and stuff like that.
Where are they going to stay? Where are they going to eat?
That's what I'm getting at. The food's going to be different.
I mean, what about their tummies? That's that tummy.
You got Buffalo Wild Wings based out of Michigan. You get to Oklahoma and you get real meat down there. Could be a problem here. Oklahoma, I am not sold on this year. Michigan, I'm not sold on this year. They're one of their best defenders has to sit out the first half for that targeting call last week. For Michigan, I think we're going to start seeing the demise of Michigan here coming up. This is the week of it. I don't have any faith in Oklahoma, but I'm going to go with the home team in this one.
Yeah, it's tough because you look at it and I'm like, gosh, I don't know. I'm trying to look right now. Michigan, Oklahoma, and the betting info is right now Oklahoma's favored by 5.
Yeah, I think that number might be too big.
Ooh.
I think that number might be too big.
What has Oklahoma done the last
That's
couple of years to
nothing.
make you think that?
They've been terrible.
Yeah.
But they got transfer portal kids that are supposed to be good. We're going to find out this weekend as well. Like I said, I could pick Michigan and feel the same way.
Yeah.
I don't have faith in either of these teams that they're going to be good at the end of the year. I'm just picking Oklahoma because it's the home team. Because you don't know with these two teams, especially Oklahoma.
If I'm I'm just flipping a coin, and I'll say Oklahoma because it's in Oklahoma.
You gotta copy me all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oklahoma's been nothing but disappointing lately. And they have young kids that have transferred in, like their quarterback. They have high hopes for him, but we've heard that before. Right, Spencer Rattler? I got to do that. Then, of course, the last game that we care about here, 12th ranked ASU. Lost the spot with their win over NAU against Mississippi State this weekend. Starksville, Kenny Dillingham has upset the masses over there in Mississippi.
Starkville.
Whatever.
No,
Nobody cares.
Starksville. Not
Weber.
Starksville.
Weberville. I don't know. Who cares?
I mean, you guys have already pissed them off enough.
I know. And unlike Kenny Dillingham, I'm going to continue to do so. Yeah. I mean, you get there, your tummy gets upset. You have to go all the way out to the outhouse. Look in that moon to see if anybody else is in there. It's just different atmosphere there in Mississippi. All 49,000 people there in Starksville. In all seriousness, ASU's the better team in this game.
Yeah, they are.
The thing that you have to worry about, if they go out there and have 12 own penalties of holding, of offsides, of all of that stuff, ASU will be in a dogfight to win this game. If they go out there and play clean and play the way we expect them to, ASU is going to win this game and cover that 6.5 that it's at right now. It opened at 8.5. People hammered the Mississippi State side there from there. Which ASU team are we going to get? I don't know. I am of the opinion it's hard to stop penalties when they start. They need to have it fixed this week or else it's going to be a season-long penalty issue coming on here. I'm going to put faith in Arizona State. I don't think the crowd's going to be too much for them, even though it's going to be, and everybody says it's SEC at night. It's intimidating. It's going to be intimidating because you're on the road, sell out, all of that stuff. But these guys are big enough, and these guys are old enough. These guys are veterans of the league. They went and played a playoff game last year against Texas.
And lost.
It's not going to because the refs suck.
And lost.
They're going to step into this and that, and the crowd will not intimidate them all. Arizona State wins this, and I do think they cover the 6.5. It's just my question is penalties, the play calls, does that end? Because if it doesn't, they're in danger of losing this game.
Well, obviously, between week 1 and week 2, I think you make your biggest strides, especially in college football, because you've now got a game under your belt. You make adjustments. You can coach things up a little more. I'm just concerned about, the food. I'm concerned about the lodging. I'm concerned about the hour-and-a-half drive from the hotel to the stadium. All these things that really, really have been discussed this week that have nothing to do with football.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with football. It's the
That's
first time that I've kind of looked at this coaching staff and Dillingham, who, by the way, I love to death. Seems like a lot of distraction.
I would agree with that, and it worries me.
That didn't need to happen.
Yeah. Kenny Dillingham, with the Barstool deal now and stuff like that, I get it. Coaches do interviews. That's what they do. But it seems like they love themselves on TV a lot right now. I agree with you.
But I still think ASU's a better football team. I think they will clean it up. I'm looking for 5 to 6 to 7 penalties this week, which obviously will make it a smoother operation. I just think ASU's more talented. They find a way to win. I'm not betting 6.5, 7 points as the point spread.
You think it might be closer than that?
Oh, I think it might be closer than that. Really? But ASU finds a way to win. That's all that matters.
I think this is going to be Kenny Dillingham said it about the NAU. I think this is going to be very similar to that Texas State game last year. It's going to be ugly at times. They're going to be fighting through things, but I think they're going to, at the end, fourth quarter, kind of pull it out and get the win there as well as it goes on. I'd like them to go out and just blow them out of the water so those Mississippi State people can go back to their huts or whatever they live at and everything, and then the stadium just gets quiet.
Those cowbells can be distracting.
I think there's going to be a lot of ASU fans there as well. I think there's going to be a lot of them there. So, guys, get your shots before you go. That's all I'm going to say. There's our picks for college this week. Here's my big one that I got for you. Ohio State plays Grambling this weekend. I mean, Grambling win by what, 10? 7? 10? After that Texas game, Ohio State let down.
What's that point spread, 50?
I don't even know if it's on the board. Did you see Grambling coach yesterday? Look, we know why we're here. And I was like, thank you, coach.
Better be
Thank
honest.
you. Because most coaches go, we're getting ready to play this game. The film's amazing to watch, but we feel like we have matchups that we can exploit. That coach was just like, we know why we are here coming up from that side. Not a lot of like high-powered games this week. That's the problem. Is you should start with bad teams and then go to bigger teams instead of the opposite, because not a lot of big games where you're going to sit there this weekend and go, I have to watch this blowout occur this weekend. UCLA, by the way, is favored against UNLV in Las Vegas. Because of last weekend, you guys don't understand. All my UCLA stuff's going to get thrown away. But Nico, I want Nico to go 0 and whatever.
You look so good in your powder
Baby blue. Which is weird because I hate powder blue. Like, that's why I can't stand the Chargers. And I like the darker blue that UCLA does more than the powder blue, by the way.
All right, let's get out of here. When you're talking about colors.
We've got more business coming up at 11 o'clock, of course. Pit Stop is up for the week as well. Don't forget, on the YouTube page as well. Check us out there for the replays, of course, at Robat TV as well. Free podcast system. And, folks, we'll see you Monday morning. Do we have a Cardinals victory? Well, Dale and I think it's going to happen. Let's see if we're right here coming up, along with ASU as well. So, folks, see you then. Have a great weekend, everybody.